If you have ever looked at your raised bed and noticed that the plants in the corners look tired, wilted, or just a little bit sad compared to everything growing in the middle, I want you to know something. That is not your fault. You did not underwater them. You did not pick bad seeds. And you are definitely not a bad gardener. What is happening in those raised bed corners is pure physics. And once you understand it, you will never plant a raised bed the same way again. Here is the deal. Take a look at any standard raised bed from above. The soil in the center of that bed is surrounded on all sides by more soil. It is insulated, it is protected, it is comfortable. But the soil sitting right in a corner? That soil is exposed on 3 faces at the same time. The top surface is open to the sun, obviously, but then you also have 2 side walls radiating heat inward from both directions. That corner soil is losing moisture from 3 directions simultaneously, while the center is only losing it from 1. Think about that for a second. 3 times the evaporative surface compared to the center. That is a massive difference, and it is happening every single day from the moment the sun comes up. And then there is wind. You might not think wind matters much at ground level, but it matters enormously at raised bed corners. When a breeze hits the solid wall of your raised bed, it wraps around the edges and actually accelerates at the corners. Same physics that makes city street corners windier than the middle of the block. Just above any moist soil surface, there is a thin layer of still, humid air that acts like a little protective blanket, slowing down evaporation. In the center of your bed, the walls help preserve that layer, but at the corners, wind from 2 directions strips it away constantly, replacing humid air with dry air and pulling moisture out of the soil even faster. If your raised bed is 18 inches tall or more, you are lifting those corners higher into the wind, making the problem worse. And if your bed runs east to west, the southwest corner typically gets the worst combination of afternoon sun and prevailing wind. That one corner is the single harshest microclimate in your entire garden. But the heat is where things really get ugly. A field test done in Houston, Texas on a Corten steel raised bed found that on a day when the air temperature was 89 degrees, the soil in the center of the bed was also 89 degrees. Comfortable, but the soil right up against the steel wall measured 97 degrees. That is an 8-degree jump just from touching the wall, and at a corner where 2 of those heated walls meet, you are looking at 10 to 15 degrees hotter than the center. Now here is why that matters so much. For lettuce, the root stress threshold is around 75 degrees Fahrenheit. For tomatoes and peppers, it is around 90 degrees. So your center soil can be sitting in the perfect zone, while your corner soil has already crossed into the danger zone. Same bed, same watering, same day. Completely different outcomes. And if you have metal raised beds, I really need you to hear this next part. Steel has a thermal conductivity roughly 500 times faster than cedar. Let me say that again because it barely sounds real. 500 times faster. Aluminium is even worse at around 2,000 times faster. So when the afternoon sun hits a steel wall, and that wall reaches 140, 150, even 160 degrees on its surface, all of that heat is being piped directly into your corner soil like water through a hose. 2 steel walls converging on one tiny patch of soil, both of them pumping heat inward at 500 times the rate that a wooden wall would. That is not a subtle difference. That is a completely different growing environment. And the color of your metal bed matters more than you might think. Testing done on dark blue versus light-colored metal beds showed the dark blue bed running 5 to 6 degrees hotter in soil temperature throughout the entire day. The dark bed held that extra heat well into the evening too. If your bed is black, dark gray, or that beautiful rusted Corton brown, your corners are absorbing maximum solar energy. Low albedo materials create the worst heat buildup. Wood beds are dramatically better at insulating corners, but even cedar corners still have the triple exposure problem. The difference is that a cedar wall has an R value of about 1.35 per inch, meaning a standard 1.5 inch board provides real thermal protection. A thick 4x4 corner post provides excellent insulation right where you need it most. So if you are choosing materials and you live somewhere with hot summers, wood wins at the corners by a landslide. Now let me explain what is actually happening underground to your plant roots in these hot, dry corners. Because this is the part that really changed my understanding of raised beds. When soil temperature climbs above 80 degrees, root cell membranes start to lose their structural integrity. The proteins that control water absorption, called aquaporins, stop functioning properly. The enzymes that drive nutrient uptake begin breaking down. Plants respond by producing heat shock proteins to protect cellular function. But this defensive response diverts energy from growth. Research on tomatoes found that after severe root zone heat stress, the recovery time for nutrient uptake proteins was 7 days or more. Your plant does not just bounce back overnight. Above 90 degrees, root growth slows dramatically. Above 104 degrees, you are seeing visible heat stress. And at 115 to 120 degrees, root cells start dying. In container studies at Arizona State University, researchers measured root zone temperatures of over 130 degrees in black containers on hot days. Those are not temperatures plants survive. And here's the part that really surprised me. Cornell University research proved that when you cool the root zone down to 74 degrees or lower, lettuce will not bolt even when the air temperature is in the 90s. That means it is the soil temperature around the roots, not the air temperature, that triggers bolting. So when your corner lettuce bolts 2 weeks before your center lettuce, you finally know exactly why. But it gets worse, because the corner problem is not just about heat. It is about moisture loss creating a nasty feedback loop. Corner soil reaches permanent wilting point, which is the moisture level where roots physically cannot extract water from the soil anymore, days before the center of the bed does. In sandy raised bed mixes, a plant transpiring normally can show moisture stress within just a few days without rain. At a hot, wind-exposed corner, that timeline shrinks dramatically, and once corner soil dries out past a certain point, it actually becomes water repellent. This is called hydrophobicity, and it is one of the sneakiest problems in raised bed gardening. The soil particles shrink and pull away from the bed walls, creating little gaps along both corner surfaces. The next time you water, the water runs right down those gaps and into the already moist center, while the corner soil stays bone dry, even though water just flowed right past it. Normal capillary action, the force that draws water through tiny soil spaces, breaks down completely in these dry corner zones, so the wet soil gets wetter and the dry corners get drier. It is a vicious cycle. And this is exactly why watering more does not always fix the problem. If your corner soil has already gone hydrophobic, dumping more water on top just sends it elsewhere. You need to fix the conditions that created the problem in the first place. On top of all this, the biology of your corner soil is collapsing. Beneficial soil fungi, the ones that build healthy soil structure and help your plants absorb nutrients, start dying off above 86 degrees. Mycorrhizal networks, those incredible fungal highways that can extend your plant's effective root reach by up to 1,000 times, cannot form or survive in hot, dry soil. Earthworms bail out entirely above 95 degrees, and the organic matter in your corners breaks down faster because of the higher temperatures, which means the soil's ability to hold water gets worse every single season. You are not just having a bad year in those corners. The corners are getting worse over time. If you are finding this helpful, hit subscribe. I put out new gardening science videos every week, and I promise they will change how you think about your garden. Now, the big question: which plants are you losing in those corners, and which ones would actually love it there? Your worst corner victims are shallow-rooted, moisture-loving, cool-season crops. Lettuce is the poster child. It bolts above 75 degrees in the root zone, and corner soil blows past that on any warm afternoon. Spinach, cilantro, arugula, radishes, peas, and celery are all terrible corner choices. If you have been planting these in your corners and wondering why they fail, while the same variety thrives in the center, now you know. But here is the flip side, and this is where it gets exciting. Mediterranean herbs evolved in hot, dry, rocky conditions. Rosemary, thyme, oregano, sage, and lavender actually prefer the exact conditions your corners create. Thyme develops stronger flavor when it is slightly drought-stressed because dry conditions concentrate the aromatic oils. Rosemary's needle-like leaves are built to conserve moisture. These plants do not just survive in corners, they thrive there. Your worst growing position becomes their favorite spot. Same goes for heat-loving flowers like marigolds, zinnias, and vincas. And on the vegetable side, okra, sweet potatoes, hot peppers, eggplant, and basil all handle warm, well-drained corners far better than your leafy greens ever will. Now, I should mention the seasonal angle here because it actually flips the whole thing on its head in spring. Early in the season, those warmer corners are an advantage. Metal bed edges warming up 8 to 10 degrees faster than the center means you can get warm season transplants established sooner at the edges. Tomato and pepper starts will love that extra warmth in April. The corner problem only becomes critical when daytime air temperatures consistently hit 80 to 85 degrees. That is when corner soil starts crossing root damage thresholds. So in spring, use your corners for warm season starts. In summer, rotate to heat lovers and herbs. Think of your corners as having a different planting calendar than the rest of the bed. The corner stress zone extends about 4 to 6 inches from each corner point. So in a standard 4 by 8 foot bed, your corners represent roughly 12 to 15% of total planting area. That is a meaningful chunk of your garden, and you can turn it from a dead zone into a flavor factory just by changing what you plant there. So here is the fix, and I promise it is simpler than you think. First, rethink your planting layout. Move all moisture-sensitive crops, your lettuce, your spinach, your cilantro, to the center of the bed. Plant your Mediterranean herbs and heat-tolerant flowers in the corners. Keep sensitive crops at least 6 inches from corner edges and 3 to 4 inches from side edges. This single change costs nothing and makes the biggest difference of anything on this list. Second, mulch your corners heavier than the rest of the bed. Research from Michigan State University found that 3 inches of wood chip mulch reduces soil temperature by 18 degrees Fahrenheit. 18 degrees. That alone can close most of the temperature gap between your corners and your center. Apply 3 to 4 inches across the bed, but push it to 5 or 6 inches right in those corner zones. Straw, wood chips, and shredded leaves all work beautifully. Third, if you use drip irrigation, adjust your emitter spacing at corners. The center of your bed needs emitters every 9 to 12 inches. Your corners need them every 6 inches, or use higher flow rate emitters in those positions. Overhead sprinklers are actually terrible for corners because the circular spray pattern misses rectangular corners entirely. That is one of those hidden causes of corner failure that nobody talks about. If you want to go old school, bury an olla clay pot in each corner. These porous clay pots have been used for 4,000 years across Africa, the Middle East, and Central America. They release water through their walls in direct response to how dry the surrounding soil is. When the soil is moist, they slow down. When the soil is dry, they release more. It is demand-driven irrigation, and it cuts water usage by up to 70%. One medium olla covers a 3-foot diameter circle, which is the perfect size for a corner stress zone. Fourth, consider amending your corner soil differently from the rest of the bed. Dig out the soil in a roughly 10-inch radius from each corner, about 8 inches deep. Mix in extra coconut coir, which holds up to 10 times its weight in water, and, unlike peat moss, re-wets easily after drying out. That is a critical detail because peat actually becomes hydrophobic when it dries, which is the exact opposite of what your corners need. You can also add biochar, which creates permanent micro-reservoirs in the soil that persist for decades. A cup or two of biochar per square foot mixed into those corner pockets makes a lasting difference. For those of you who want to go further, here are 3 bonus fixes. Line the interior walls at your corners with a piece of rigid foam insulation board, about 1 inch thick. This creates a thermal break between the hot wall and your soil. Even a layer of flattened cardboard against the inside of your walls makes a noticeable difference, though you will need to replace it every season. If you have dark metal beds, consider painting the exterior white or a light color. Research shows white containers reduce maximum root zone temperature by up to 7 degrees Celsius compared to dark ones. That is a huge difference from a can of paint. And finally, plant something tall on the south or southwest side of your bed, about 12 inches inward from the corner. Corn, sunflowers, or a trellis with climbing beans or cucumbers will cast afternoon shade right over the corner zone, reducing soil temperature by 8 to 15 degrees during peak heat hours. Here is what I love about this problem. Once you understand the physics, the fix is incredibly intuitive. You are not fighting your garden. You are working with it. Every raised bed has microclimates, and instead of pretending every square foot is the same, you can use those differences to your advantage. People in Lesotho figured this out decades ago when they developed keyhole gardens, circular raised beds with a compost basket in the center that eliminated corners entirely. Over 20,000 of them have been built across Africa. Similarly, hugel culture mounds naturally create gentle slopes without sharp corner edges. You do not need to tear out your beds and start over. You just need to understand that your corners are a different environment and plant accordingly. Next season, try this. Put rosemary and thyme in your corners. Move the lettuce to the center. Add an extra couple inches of mulch where those 2 walls meet. And I think you are going to be amazed at the difference. If you want to learn more about why your raised beds dry out so fast and what to do about it, that video is on screen right now. And subscribe so you do not miss next week's deep dive into the best soil mix for raised beds. I will see you in the next one.